Live from the D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C., this is the Boxing Along the Beltway post-fight wrap-up show. The Boxing Along the Beltway post-fight wrap-up show is brought to you in part by UndisputedBrand.com. Visit UndisputedBrand.com for the finest in boxing and mixed martial arts apparel. Undisputed Brand, the brand true, champions wear. And by JM Photography, where your home is your studio. At JM Photography 26 at yahoo.com. Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams, still at the D.C. Armory, wrapping up quite frankly, what was a very frustrating night for Beltway boxers on the national scene this evening. We went through the whole undercard for the card here at the D.C. Armory, so we won't go through that. Ron Harris and I thought did a really nice job with that. However, tonight on national television, quite frankly, Beltway boxers took literally a beating tonight. There was no question about that. You look at what took place not only here at the D.C. Armory in our main event with Tony the Tiger Thompson losing by a 6-round TKO to Luis Ortiz, but you look at the battering that both Fernando Guerrero and, surprisingly, Antoine Douglas took tonight on Showtime from the Sands Bethlehem Event Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it was a rough night, pure and simple. It was a very rough night for Beltway boxers all the way around here. Let's take them individually. I mean, bottom line, in all three situations, which is, we really can't take them individually because they all happened pretty much the same way tonight. All three boxers, Fernando Guerrero, Antoine Douglas, Tony Thompson, they all were not really in the bouts for the most part tonight. When you look at what happened with Tony Thompson here at the D.C. Armory, Luis Ortiz basically battered Tony Thompson, I won't say from pillar to post, but he knocked him down in the second round. He knocked him down again later on in the bout, and then finally finished him off in the sixth round. I mean, Tony Thompson had very little, if no offense, against Luis Ortiz here tonight. It was a relatively easy win, as many people expected in all seriousness. They all expected it was going to be a pretty easy night for Luis Ortiz, and it was. Simple as that. It was that easy of a night for the real King Kong. He remains undefeated, now 25-0, 22 KOs, and this may be goodbye for Tony Thompson. I mean, again, I don't know how far he goes after this. He is 44 years old. He has had a wonderful career, been a two-time world title challenger, but in all seriousness, I think it may be it for him as well. And I think the same may be said as a viable contender for Fernando Guerrero, in all seriousness. Fernando Guerrero has had a couple of title shots. He had one title shot against Peter Quillen in his career. He's had some shots when he had opportunity to grow. He couldn't do it. And then finally, it was pretty much it. And he had a couple comeback wins. The win against Abraham Hahn last year was a big win for him. But tonight against Tony Harrison in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, he had no shot. No shot. That was pretty much it. 6-round TKO loss for Fernando Guerrero against Tony Harrison tonight. And it was a brutal, brutal bout. Harrison with him shot. I mean, Guerrero had an opportunity midway through the bout to make a comeback. He really couldn't do it. He tried it, didn't get it done, and that was pretty much it for Fernando Guerrero. So, again, I think you're looking at Fernando Guerrero possibly no longer being viable as a contender at this stage of his career going forward. Now, the same cannot be said for Antoine Douglas, because this was Antoine's first loss in his pro career, but he got off to a bad start against Kurtsit. He got off to a bad start. He had the cut on his eye. That didn't help matter. Cut along the right eye. He got knocked down the third. He did mount a good comeback in the fifth round of that bout, but by the seventh round, it was pretty much done. And Kurtsit pretty much took care of business the rest of the way and finally stopped him early in the 10th round. So I think Douglas is there. As the commentators, Barry Tompkins, Steve Farhood, and Raul Marquez said on the broadcast tonight, and yes, I did watch the broadcast while I was at the D.C. Armory, so I do know what he said. It was his situation where he was like one fight away from world title bout. I think if he had won tonight, a world title bout could have been in the offering for Antoine Douglas. He now makes, as they said, a U-turn. I firmly agree with that. He is not out of the picture yet. He just has to go back a little bit further back in the line right now. So that's the bottom line with Antoine Douglas. Again, just a real, real tough night all the way around for Beltway boxers on the national television scale. Now, earlier on tonight, we had a number of boxers here at the D.C. Armory do very, very well, except for Alexander Johnson, who fought well in defeat. in his bout against Todd Unthank May, but really was never in that bout. But the other guys, Lamont Rose Jr., Demetrius Ballard, Kevin Rivers Jr., fought very, very well tonight and won their bouts in good fashion. So that's it. Otherwise, it's a very tough night all the way around for Beltway boxing, and on a national scale, and we have to get back on the mainstream down the road. And we don't know if it's going to come on April 23rd when Dominic Wade fights Gennady Golovkin, but somewhere along the line, we're going to have to pick it back up. There's no question about that. Now, our schedule for the next couple of weeks, we're back at the Golden Gloves next Saturday, 1 week from tonight, Saturday, March 12th, for one of the semifinal bouts at the Sugar Ray Leonard Boxing Center, which is in Palmer Park, Maryland. I might have said Baltimore, Maryland in a recent podcast. It is indeed Palmer Park, Maryland, where the boxing on the Beltway will be for the first semifinal of the Washington Golden Gloves. That'll be followed by Saturday, March 19th, same location. And then we come to Rosecroft Raceway on Saturday, April 2nd for the Washington Golden Gloves final. And Regional Golden Gloves final will be on Saturday, April 30th, also at Rosecroft Raceway. In between that, we've got a amateur card coming to Michael's 8th Avenue on Thursday night, March the 10th. That'll be Jake Smith Baltimore Boxing at Michael's 8th Avenue. We also have an amateur card at Rosecroft Raceway on Friday, March the 27th. And that'll be the PVA All-Stars back in action on that night, Friday, March 27th. And then we also have a card coming up at the at UDC coming up in March as well. I believe that's going to be March 26th. Actually, I think March 26th is actually a Friday. And the PVA show may be on the 25th, actually. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. March 26th is the show at at UDC. That's a Saturday. The PVA show is March 25th, which is a Friday. Friday, March 25th is where the PVA show will be at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. So, got a lot still going on. Of course, Friday, April 1st, we're right back here at the DC Armory for the Ashley Theophane Adrian Bronner card coming up. We've got Anthony Peterson on that card, scheduled to be in that card. Javante Tank Davis, scheduled to be in that card. And many others right back here at the DC Armory on Friday night, April 1st. And that's a national televised card by Spike TV. So still a lot going on, and just some great things going on. But tonight, quite frankly, on the national schedule, it was just not the Beltway's night. No question about that. But we'll see what happens as we go forward. So the Boxing on Beltway post-fight wrap-up show is brought to you in part by UndisputedBrand.com. Visit UndisputedBrand.com for the finest in boxing and mixed martial arts apparel. Undisputed Brand, the brand true champions wear. And by JM Photography, where your home is your studio at JM Photography 26 at yahoo.com. The DC Army was a place tonight where a crowd of a little over 4,300 people saw this card here by Golden Boy Promotions. And we look forward to seeing you at the Golden Gloves coming up this coming weekend, 1 week from tonight. Until then, I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for listening all throughout the evening. Hope you enjoyed the interviews we had, and also the undercard post-fight wrap-up show we did with Ron Harris. Hope you enjoyed all that right here on the Boxing on Beltway Google app for Android. Thanks for joining us, and always remember, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the Boxing Along the Beltway. Take care.